Doing with this, nice blade, just run your line right along the edge. Don't push too hard because you don't want to cut the top. Then just roll it back like so. See how nice and flat that is? Try to do this so you can see it. And that's how it should look. See how nice and that is the real result you'll be left with. You see? Lovely. Beautiful. Beautiful. So now, so what we're doing here, all we're doing, you rub your Stanley knife right across the edge of the sink. We're not cutting into the worktop. All we're doing is scoring it. Score it nice and gentle. We're not cutting into the worktop, we're scoring it. Put it right on the trim. Gently, 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 gently. And the reason why this just peels up, because we haven't touched it in first place and we haven't squashed it down, it don't form a seal until it's squashed. And then you just can pull it off like that. People make a mistake. As soon as they start touching it and they flatten it down, then the silicone sticks. If you don't, it'll just come off like that. Look at that, it's like a whip. Like a bondage whip. You know what I mean? Tip of the day. And that's what it comes off like. Because silicone will only stick when you push it in and two surfaces rub together like that. Or you rub it in with your finger. How I put this sink in, because I've squashed it in and then squashed it down, as it's squirted out, I haven't bothered touching it. I've just left it, and that's what you end up with. And you can just pull it off. But if you would have touched it and tried to squash it down, you make a right mess of it. You'd never get it off because it just sticks like no tomorrow. Tip of the day. That's what we're left up with. That's how it should look. Nice, neat, tidy. Look at the finish. That's why I love these sinks. I just love them. Beautiful. So once I've got it in, I put my tap in. I find it easier building the sink up while it's in like this. I put my tap in first, then I'll connect my tap to my isolators. Then I put my waste in, I connect my waste to my waste trap. Then I put the grommet in. Then I put that front rail on. All in stages, step by step. Like I keep saying about Lego, you just got to build it. But what I have noticed when I come in here every morning, it is cold and I've got an electric heater. And I always thought about putting another radiator in here. So I'm going to have a word with him and see if he wants me to put a radiator in while I'm here, because he's had two taken out of here. There was a radiator on this corner here and a radiator on back of that wall. Whoever took that wall down took that radiator off, but they haven't replaced the radiator, so we're going to have this open plan and it's quite nippy. So I'm going to have a word with him, see if he wants me to put a radiator in. I'll put a radiator in while I'm here, because if he don't do one, I think he'll regret it, because it's cold now and it's not winter, unless he don't have heating on. You know what us Yorkshiremen are like? People say they're tight. I like me eating though. I'd rather spend my money on eating than go out. So we'll see. So what we're doing here, we're getting the panel on, plenty of brackets all the way down. All the way down. Get your screws in. I always step my brackets about 1 mm from that panel, and when you screw it in, it pulls it in. Top and bottom. plenty of brackets in because what we're doing is we're making a solid base. And we're going to screw the legs down to the floor. And then we're going to screw, I would like some screws. I need some screws. You're going to screw the legs down to the floor, and then where the legs push into the unit, I'm going to screw the legs into the unit as well. Because there's no point in screwing the legs down if you don't screw the top of it, because the unit still go like that. See this floor? See how bouncy this floor is? You see that unit? Rattle. Every time I walk past here, this drops. So what I will do, because I'm like that, I'm going to cut this floor up, I'm going to put some strengtheners down to stop that bounce, because I don't want, every time the dishwasher is going to go on there, it's going to go like a slap, it's going to go, you know what I mean? Right, job in hand, crack on with this. Plenty of screws on every bracket. See how sturdy it is. Get underneath. I put my brackets, wherever you put your bracket underneath, what you need to be doing is, there's legs on it. Never put your bracket where the leg is, because when you want to get underneath with your drill, you're not going to get in. I do have a right angle drill. That's how I put them on underneath. Just goes underneath, put some on. So screw them brackets up, make sure that line's flush and it's looking beautiful. And then we've got the island and the worktop next. That'll do me. The curve on this, it's a pain to put the double curve on a laminate worktop. You've got to make sure that, see this edge here, it's smooth. Smooth, runs freely, all the way around, like that. Like a dream. Yeah? And then that point there, that's where we're going to have the overhang on the unit. So what I do, that's where the unit is. I put some cardboard underneath because when I'm routering this, you have to flip it and you have to turn it. So, because we're limited a space, I'm going to start the curve exactly in line there. So that tells me how much curve I need to put on. So we'll have to have a curve from there. So that wants to be out. So marking it there so we ain't got a massive overhang on the drawing. There's a massive overhang. It's too big, way too big. So we're reducing the overhang as much as I can, as a day possible, for it not to hit all. So we've reduced it by about on the plan, the overhang's about 300. Way too much. Way too much. I've got it down to 60 mil. So the over, because there'll be a panel there. Because the overhang, they've done it like that because this top's that big, and the fitters don't like to cut these down and round them. So that's why it's showing on that plan like that. But it don't work if you're overhanging it so far like that. You're not going to get past there. You're going to be stuck out here. I want it in line with this exact. I want that line to run straight down there. So when you walk in and you walk past it here, you can look, when you glance, you see that worktop running bang in line with that. And that's what we want. And then the other side, you don't want a massive overhang on there, like the plan. Otherwise you're going to be walking into it. Gap's tight enough as it is. So this is how I'm reducing it. when I'm routering my top, always left hand side. So we flip it, I'm going to route that out. So my jig goes in there, comes out there. Now in theory, what it's supposed to be, it's supposed to line up flush with this line. But you've got like a little cat's nads of a slight lip which you have to sand off. So the easiest way is just once you get your jig on square, just pull it off slightly there. Pull it off slightly and then clamp it up. And then when we swing round, it's just going to come off and it's going to run off the worktop nice and slowly. And then when you lip it, you're not going to have that little lip and you won't have to sand it. It'll be just right. Just bring it off, a cat's nads, a mill off, and then get your router it. There's plenty of ways of doing this. This is how I do it. And I just find it easy. I'm going to film it all because we've got to crack on. We're on bonus today. So we've got a lot to do. But I've just quickly explained it for everyone, how I'm doing it. Alright, cheers. But when you're cutting your bar and centering it, I'll show you a nifty trick how to do it. My level, I know the size of my level. I always have it front edge 60mm. So you just make sure it's flush like that. Make sure it's flush there. Draw a pencil mark. Now that is your first cut. Then all obs tend to be the exact same size. 560 wide by either 480 or 490. Just checking your instructions. But then when you're in the wild, you have to use what's to hand. So the first thing I do, pull this shelf out, 600 base unit, put it on my level line there. Look, with the inside of the unit, that is what you call a bang on. Level line, draw line. This hob I've already checked instructions. It says it's 490. So I've just marked a line from my level before I took my level off. 490. Then all you have to do is move your shelf up. Move the old shelf up like that. Draw a line round it. Take your shelf off, put it back in the unit. Beautiful. And there we have it, the hob cut out. Now what you need to do, check from that end to there, which is 412. Check from that end to there, which is 412. So you know it's all exact, just like a dream. 60mm there, 60mm there, 412 there, 412 there. You know it's bang square. You know you've got the exact gap what you need. Drop your saw in, cut it out. Easy as that, instead of messing about. Always use what you can use in the kitchen, in your environment. Just as long as you know your measurements and what they start at, it's just easy. Top tip there from MJC Kitchens and Bathrooms. This is my electrician. He's not very cheery this morning. He's having to work on that board up there.